Hello everyone and welcome back. So in the last video we saw how we can train a deep learning model and then we also evaluated it. In this video we are going to document the baseline results, meaning that all the models that we are going to train, we are going to add those results in an Excel sheet so that we can refer back to it whenever we need it. So in this video we are simply going to document the baseline results. And for that, for example, we have these hyperparameters. These are the same hyperparameters that we are going to keep to train all the models so that we can have some baseline results that we can work on in future. As you can see, we have the batch size, which is fixed to 32. We have total number of epochs, which are 50. This is the learning rate, weight decay. For regularization, we have the Adam optimizer, the reduce LR on plateau scheduler. Loss function is cross entropy because this is a multi-class classification problem, and we have also used early stopping. Next, we have these different things that we need to store after we have trained the model. So for example, we'll first save the name of the model, the validation accuracy that it achieved, the validation loss that it has achieved. Next, we'll save the best epoch, meaning the epoch that had the best performance or the best accuracy or the least loss. We are going to add it over here. Next, we are going to add the total training time that it took for the model to train. This is very essential because when we do a comparison, we want a model that performs well but also takes less time to train. Next, we'll also see the inference time per image. For example, how much seconds it takes to make a prediction on a certain image after we have trained our model. Next, we are also going to add the precision, recall, and the F1 score that we get from the classification report once we train the model. Okay, so going back to the coding notebook, I have also made this Excel sheet over here. We are simply going to keep on adding the results for each experiment that we do. For example, in this case, we have done breast density classification. So I have made a list over here which has all the hyperparameters for the models that we are going to train. And this is the Excel sheet where we are going to add the results. Next, if we are going to do, for example, for Tulsa classification, we are going to add another tab and then name it with the project, and then we can also document the results over there. So it would kind of be a log for ourselves so that we can refer back to it and see what kind of results we achieved using the baseline models or the state-of-the-art models so that we have a baseline we can work on in future. So going back to the code, this is the exact code that we have done so far. If you haven't checked these videos out already, you can definitely go ahead and do that. I'll add the link of these in the description below. Also, you can find them if you click on the top right I button. You can also find the videos over there. So I have added the Kaggle notebook link, the GitHub link, and everything in the description. So basically we started off by exploring the data set. We saw if there are any missing values for densities. Then we removed the implants because we didn't need them for this specific experiment. My aim is to use this for another experiment in which we'll perform implant classification, meaning it would check an image and tell us whether it has an implant or not. But for this experiment, we do not need this, so which is why I've removed them. Next, we went ahead and analyzed and saw the intensity and everything, and then we saw the distribution plots based on the dataset distribution, the age distribution, and based on the dataset distribution, we saw that we have the least amount of images in the category A and D compared to B and C. Next, we moved on and did some pre-processing where we removed the density values, the rows which had the density values null. Next, we removed any implants. Other than that, we also made sure that we have a sort of representation of every class in the dataset. So for that, we use stratified sampling when we split our dataset into training, test, and validation. So I'm just going through the code very fast, but if you want to see a detailed video on it, you can definitely go ahead and check out the previous videos, the part 1 and 2 of this, so that you can have a better idea. So now that we have our data set split ready and everything, as you can see over here, like this. Next thing is we prepare the data generator, and then we added the CSV that we have just created. So after that, what we did was we checked if there are no duplicates in the training, validation, test set, because we need to make sure that one patient resides in only one set, either in the training set, validation, or the test set. One patient cannot repeat in any of these sets. Okay, so next we use some augmentation or augmentation techniques like these. I have a video for this as well. And then what we did was we simply created the dataset instances. Then we did some sanity checks to see if everything is all right. And then we used this data efficient image transformer model. So I'm simply going to take this name from over here and I'm going to paste it over here because it's the model that we have trained earlier. We can also add the year in which the model was released if you like. So moving on, what we did was we simply initialized the model, defined it, and we saw that it is of around 327.31 MB. Okay, so we need that information, and we can also add it over here. So for example, if I want to add another column, I can also add it model size and add the model size over here. So this will provide us with the idea of how large the model was, so that if we have another model that is smaller in size but performs as well as this one, we can consider that model as well. So moving along, we will move along and see we had this training loop and then we trained the model. It took us around how much time? So for example, for one epoch it took around 8 to 9 minutes, and for the entire model training it took around 128 minutes. So either you can add it as it is or you can also convert it into hours. So for example, I'm going to write it 128 minutes over here, right? So coming back to this code, what other things do we want? We want the validation accuracy and the validation loss, right? So we have trained the model and then early stop was triggered around 15th epoch. So we know that the early stop was triggered and the best epoch was, I think, okay, this one. 6th epoch was the best one. So we are going to add it over here because in the 6th epoch it saved the results, as we can see, but then after that it didn't save any result and the early stop was triggered. So this is how we keep on adding the information. So moving along, we saw that we have this train and validation accuracy curve. You can also take a screenshot of these curves and save it for later if you like, or if you're documenting your results. So moving along, we have the test accuracy, which is of 77.37. So we can also add it over here, like we can edit it to test accuracy, and now that we have this accuracy we can add it over here. Okay, so validation loss I think is not necessary, so I'm going to delete this column. You can definitely keep it if you like. Moving along, we have this classification report, and here you can see that we have 76% on the validation set. Then we have the precision, which is of around 73, and then we have this, okay, recall, which is 65 and 68, which is the macro average, and then we have the weighted average. We are going to add the weighted average right now in the results. So we are going to add 0.76 in recall and precision. And for recall, we have to get it for each class. So for example, for one class, for class A, it is 0.45. For B, it is 0.80. For C, it's 0.78. And for D, it's 0.83 and 0.50. Okay, so these are the recall values. Sorry, I was looking somewhere else, so I wrote the wrong one. Okay, so now that we have the recalls and everything, and next is the F1 score, which is 0.75, which is the weighted F1 score. So I'm going to add it over here. Okay, so this is how we document the results. What is left now is to add the inference time that it took for the images per image, right? So inference time per image, if we move down a bit, we made a prediction and we can see that it takes around 0.24 or 0.05 seconds to complete one image. So we are going to add 0.025 seconds is the time that it takes to make inference on one test image or make a prediction on a test image. Okay, so this is how we document the results of different models. So, for example, you can go ahead and add different models, like I've had added a context over here, and then we can also add efficient B3 maybe. Then you can go ahead and experiment with some other models, and you can keep on adding the results of these models just the same way as we did with the data efficient transformer. And then you'll have sort of a comparison of different models and how they perform and how much training time they take, so that you can make a decision on what kind of model you want to select. So this is how it works. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like the video. I'll add the link of this Excel sheet in the description below, so that you can also copy and edit it if you like. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much.